First on the agenda will be the health department.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
How you doing?
Hey, oh, I was going to show you a trick today. Taking off your mask can be a challenge, right? So you just find a clean sheet of paper if you're in an office, you set it down, take it from behind your ears, and you place it on a piece of paper. Okay.
Cool.
Yep. So, but I'm here to talk about requesting a renewal of $49,000 to support core public health services for residents in Franklin County. So the amount that the Florida Department of Health in Franklin County is asking for is the same amount we've been asking for several years. And the funding supports services that are provided through our medical clinic. So the funding is actually tied to one of our nurses, and that covers communicable disease control services, medical services, immunizations, maternal and child health services, family planning services, and then of course, vital statistics. So that's our funding request.
Routinely approved.
You is tentatively approved, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Sarah, thank you for your updates.
Absolutely,
I
and we'll
love
have,
to see those.
I appreciate that very
Oh, yeah.
much, and we'll have one coming out tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
thank you. Next on the agenda will be Weems Hospital.
Good morning, Commissioners. David Walker. I won't take mine off like Sarah. I just put mine on the ear right here. But this is our annual budget that we usually submit. And when we look at the hospital, we got the hospital, the clinics, and ambulance service a part of this budget. And the total budget is $14 million, $14,755,305. And we ask that you tentatively approve our budget.
Y'all didn't go up on the same thing like?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. We probably look at our operation from the sales tax, I think is a little lower on here than it probably was last year. And of course, we're probably gonna expect that a little bit because of the tourist dollars probably going down. You know, that's just projection. And so we should get 1.169080 from the sales tax this year. That's 50% of it. And then the other money that we're looking for subsidies for EMS, that's $764,252. And this year maybe, like I said, we'll look at the sales tax, of course, it'll probably go down a little bit, but with the COVID money that we're getting, that helps out a lot. And hopefully, with the new bills coming in, we may be able to get another round of that also for hospitals.
Okay. Did y'all ever, Mr. Walker, did y'all ever, did that machine ever come in, the one with supposed to do the rap?
Yeah, that's not gonna come in. We were like 4 to 8 weeks out when we ordered, so probably at the end of August, it would be here. Kind of like right around when school start, which would be real good then,
Right.
if they start then.
Okay.
Where are you going to put it? I've been in your lab and seen a large floor space taken up by one machine.
Yeah, well, it's gonna go in the lab.
In the
Yeah,
lab,
yeah,
right
yeah.
next to the one you have?
Yeah, and we'll.
Got room there, huh?
Yeah, we'll take we'll take another machine out
I
and
see.
put that one there.
Okay.
Yeah,
That'd be good.
and that's gonna be a game changer for us also.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so we're just trying to update our equipment while we can, especially with the, additional funding that we have.
All right, I need approval.
Let me close the door.
Yeah.
I know we full, but we got to do something. Approval of what? tentative approval with?
Is your budget same as last year?
Yeah.
It is. It is the only amount of ad valorem proceeds that actually go to the Weems Hospital budget is for the ambulance service, and the ambulance service subsidy is unchanged.
And you got a little over 3 million relative to, what was it, the CARES Act?
For CARES
Didn't that
Act
happen?
funding,
Yeah, yep.
We have that in the bank account and it's earmarked for solely special spending, right?
Well, it's earmarked for COVID-related purchases,
Yes.
you know, as well as lost revenue. So it's in our account, meaning that with those particular funds, you know, you can cover lost revenue, you can cover equipment, you know, like machine you just bought, anything to respond, prevent, or prepare for COVID-19. You know, so you can update some of your medical equipment that would offer remote patient monitoring, like the telemetry systems, you know, that would help to monitor patients from the outside of the room, so they have to go back in, you know, try to prevent infections and those type of things. Yeah.
And I was happy to hear Bill telling us at the last hospital board meeting that you've begun upgrading your contracts, calling them and asking them for better rates. For years, we haven't done that, and that, I know that's gonna be a big help.
Yeah, matter of fact, and we'll send something out, but we don't want to name the insurance carriers, but we just got the preliminary analysis of our negotiations for the top 3 commercial payers, and we're looking at cash payment, like cash coming into a hospital for the services that we provide with these carriers. We're looking at an additional $369,000 the first year. The second year, we're looking at $433,000. And the third year, we're looking at $451,000. And so 3 of our major insurance carriers have given us a great increase, and that's cash. That meaning that's whatever they paid us before, we expect them to pay us again that amount, but you put that cash of the increased rates on that. And I'll email that out to you all, but we don't want to put the names of the insurance carriers on there because of we're in negotiations, things like that. And so that's a big bonus for us
It
right
is,
now.
yeah. And then, you know, you just analyze every EOB that comes in to make sure that they're paying what they said. And if they're missing documentation, you refile and resubmit.
Yeah, that's one of the things when, I know Bill and HD, you know, I can't take credit for it because they started it back in March when we had $1.2 million that were outstanding, you know, that wasn't work. And now that number is down to maybe, last week we looked at $95,000, you know, that we're working now. Now, that don't mean that we're gonna collect the whole $95,000 because we had some bad insurance rates. You know, we may get half of that, you know, but it probably will go up. So we've been working on that list on a weekly basis. We have revenue cycle team meetings, and so that list have really went down. And that's Bill and his team, you know, working on that. So that's very great for us. You know, so we're doing what we can to bring the increase in the doors, but the negotiations of these contracts has improved, but they still robbing us. So we'll go back at them again, you know.
And you've got an accounting firm helping you do that, don't you? That's good.
And also our auditor, Brian Hall, you know, he continue to take looks at stuff. We have a contract negotiator that has been working with us. And so it's been like a collective effort here.
Yeah.
You know, and like Brian said, hey, you know, you're getting a good increase, you know, $369,000 look good. You know, one of them gave us, I think, Bill, you can come up here, 83% increase. One of them gave us 100% increase. That looked good, but Brian said, hey, they still paying you low, so don't settle for that amount. And so we're thinking that will be stronger, even as we move forward, you know, in our new partnership, you know, with the line and things like that.
Especially, you haven't asked for them before. You
Yeah, we hadn't asked,
You know,
yeah.
like you're pestering them. I mean, it's a new one. I like that.
Yeah. And it could be, also, you know, we've been playing hardball with them, but we're in a geographically isolated area here. And so they have to provide the services to their insurance carriers that live in this community. And when COVID hit, it just seemed like the attitude changed a little bit because we've been doing this for a whole year with them.
Yes.
And they began to just turn, especially one of the big ones, just turn on the dime.
You just said it, the geographical isolated area. And you know, Mr. Chairman, when you think about the many different layers that the federal government has talked to our county about this hospital, you know, They reminded us of about a $10 million loan that we had standing out there. They wanted to know, did you need it? Because we care about you. They brought in the Texas A&M University medical team to help us. And then, you know, when this COVID hit, we were asked to census our hospital beds. So this is very, very important, how critical this hospital is. And here came $3 million, yes, specifically earmarked, but again, another federal government saying, hey, rural hospital, hang in there, we need you.
Right.
Yeah,
This is
just
real important.
yeah, just to add to that, I was just invited, you know, by Texas A&M. They did a national webinar with the National Organization of Rural Health Officers nationwide, and they invited us, me, to sit on the panel and talk about our relationship here with Texas A&M. You know, so that's, you know, so that was very good. You know, the value of our hospital, you know, from people that is on the national level here, and also to look for other resources that we can tap into to bring into the county. You know, we really want to, as we move into 1920, we really want to leverage our funding sources. We want the new funding dollars, you know, to diversify the money that we're getting here, you know, in the county. And that's what I've been doing, and of course Bill, but the idea is to look for other monies, you know, to offset what we're getting from the sales tax.
Tentative approval.
Yep,
All right, thank you all.
good. Thank you.
Next on the agenda. TDC.
TDC.
Afternoon, Commissioners. We have, sorry, I have to put my glasses on even though I have it memorized. The TDC budget request this year is John Solomon, TDC Director. The TDC budget request this year is 1.717805, which is a 2.5% decrease from last year's budget.
Oh, the COVID.
So what don't you get to spend money on since that happened?
We were able to, with our payments to land acquisition, that we'll be able to, that we did pay in 2019-20 budget year, we'll be able to reduce that amount. And there was a couple other projects that was put into last year's budget that were taken care of, and instead of increasing, we felt it, you know, or even at the same, felt with everything, the uncertainty with the COVID stuff coming on, that would be safe to not add that back into the budget.
Is it picking up in it?
Yes, sir. Should have a very, very good report for y'all at the next meeting.
Yeah, it actually looks like our tourism numbers are pretty good compared to the rest of the state. It's
Okay.
unfortunate we got lumped in.
Aaron said it. Yes, we are actually have possibly an increase this year,
For the year,
for the year,
despite COVID.
despite COVID. Yes, sir.
That's because tourists came up here because we had room and capacity. And
Well, I don't
maybe,
know about
maybe a
room.
more
We
safer
stretched that,
environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rooms are only limited to the amount we have. So, we, you know,
I was thinking distances too. you know,
Our,
and-
well, that's what the TDC focused on after the rentals got reopened. We didn't focus on, you know, anything but our wide open spaces, being able to fish, being able to go to the beach, kayak, bird watching. Those effect of minimalist advertising, but letting people know that there is a place to get away from, you know, large crowds.
I tell them they can live longer coming up here.
Tentatively approved.
You've been tentatively approved.
Thank y'all very much. Y'all have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you.
Circuit.
All right, so Commissioner, I am going to unmute Grant Slayton. Grant, you and Elizabeth, you're unmuted. Good afternoon. How you guys
Yes,
doing
Miss-
today?
Good afternoon, Mr. Moreno. Thank you very much. We're pleased to be able to talk.
Well, good. Basically, you could go ahead, Grant, and present your your budget, and just let them know if there are any changes and what they are.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Good afternoon, Chair Lockley and fellow commissioners. I'm Grant Slayton, and I'm the trial court administrator for the Second Judicial Circuit Court, and that's circuit and county court for Franklin County. And on behalf of Chief Judge Jonathan Scherstrom, we appreciate the opportunity to come to this budget workshop and present our tentative budget. Basically, our budget request is attained, majority of it comes from dedicated statutory fees and court costs. So we generate funds, and then those funds are used to pay for the court system. A smaller percentage comes from other sources, to include your general revenue budget. Overall, our budget request remains the exact same from last year, $41,331. There's no change from previous years. We've been successful in the last few years to maintain a base budget and not deviate upwards, even though some costs have risen. This year in particular, some costs rose, but only by a few $100s. And we offset that once again by just reducing some other areas of the budget. In this particular case, we've reduced our technology, which is a court innovations fee, but it's a technology fund, and that offset any potential increase. So it's the same budget request as last year. We also have in the process of submitting some CARES Act funding, which is separate from our base budget, but just some extraordinary costs, fully reimbursable through the process you've set up for that. But overall, our budget is the same, and we'd request that you go ahead and tentatively approve our budget, subject to any questions you may have.
Can we approve?
You've been tentatively approved, sir.
All right, Grant, thank you so much. They tentatively approve your budget.
Okay, thank you again. Appreciate it, everybody.
Okay, thank you so much. All
Bye-bye.
right, next is state.
County judge, oh, that took it a county judge too?
Yes, he did both circuit and county judge. Let me,
Okay.
I'm gonna have to, let me see here. On hopes of the best,
State
I'm calling the
attorney
right
next.
number. I think this should be the state attorney. Mary Dean, I think I see your number. Is that you?
Yes, good
Hey.
morning, group. This is Mary Dean Barrow with the State Attorney's Office.
Good, go ahead, present your budget.
I appreciate you guys, and sorry I wasn't on any earlier. Currently, we are requesting our budget request for $24,150. This is the amount we requested last year. As you are aware, it pays for all of our technology and the phones and internet and any type of other technology needs that we may have. Michael's been great in this year in working with us and trying to expand our space to be a little more usable. We actually won't be growing in size, but we will be adding a wall to make it more functional in terms of our lobby area and securing it to the public. So I appreciate you guys, appreciate the efforts that y'all have done in that aspect. Also really appreciate Linda Phillips with the clerk's office. She is always very thorough, very knowledgeable, and helpful when we've got questions about what we can spend and what we cannot spend. I know we've currently purchased 2 laptops in order to get our secretaries to be a little more efficient working remotely to keep them safe during these times. Other than that, I have no other questions, and I appreciate y'all, and let me know if you've got any questions about how we are using these funds.
And Mary Dean, while they're checking, I'll tell you the pounding that you're hearing in the background is the contractor working in your office.
Oh, you're kidding. That is great news.
Well, yeah, but the drilling has been a little out at times, but that's fine. We're dealing with it. We're good.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I thought you were going to say thunder because it's starting to rain here.
Oh, no.
Didn't know if you could hear outside here in Wakulla.
Yeah, no, ma'am. That's the hammer and the drill next door.
Well, great. I'm going to have to touch base with Jared and see how it's going. It's
Okay.
finally happening.
Yep, finally happening.
Tentatively approved.
You've been tentatively approved, ma'am.
All right, Miss Mary Dean, thank you so much for calling.
Thank you. Y'all have a good day.
You too. Okay.
Next on the agenda will be the public defender.
Commissioner, at this time, I don't see anyone with the Public Defender's Office. I'm going to see if I have Courtney call, actually Courtney and the other Courtney, and see if they're gonna call in or not. But Guardian ad litem is on that. I can unmute Ms. Deborah Moore if we can skip one for a second,
Okay,
okay?
we'll go to the garden line.
Ms. Deborah, I just unmuted you. Good afternoon. Hey, Ms. Deborah, you there? I just unmuted you.
I'm sorry, I had my phone on mute. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm here. Well, I never would have imagined the last time that I presented with you all that this year I would be talking with you from my porch. That has been a huge transition for myself and for our program. But I'm very proud of our staff and our 400 Guardian ad litem advocates for making this transition in a very short period of time. So just to update you all, we continue to work diligently to serve the children in Franklin County. We have, because of the circumstances, had to have all of our staff and our court hearings, of course, have functioned in this way as well. But beginning middle of March, we made the transition to working remotely and visiting with our children virtually. In the middle of June, we felt like that we statewide could make the adjustment to adding in face-to-face outside visits with the children and the caregivers. And for about 4 weeks, we functioned that way with some of the more critical situations, but then needed to revert back just because of the resurgence to back to the majority of our visits are virtual. And we hope that that's going to change sooner than later. But that's how we have been functioning. I have a formal reopen plan for our office here. All of our staff for all 6 of our counties, as you know, work from the Leon County Court Annex, and we have a plan to have a rotating return, but we don't have a date at this particular time. But that is in place, and we are hopeful that again we will be identifying a date sooner than later. So in terms of our request, as indicated in the letter, last year we served 52 children total, and the past couple of years that's been higher than previous years. But as we talked about last year, the good news is that we are serving those children, even though the numbers are a bit higher. We're very grateful for the opportunity to do everything we can to advocate for those children and help them. It's about 5% of our total number. Our total number has been high for all of our counties for the past couple of years, and right now it's currently about 720 for all 6 counties. But in Franklin, the really great news is that Franklin County is one of our strongest counties in terms of retaining our volunteers. We have some wonderful volunteer child advocates. We did lose a couple for circumstances of moving or just not being able to continue at all, but we have about 11 very strong volunteer advocates, Guardian ad litem advocates. Our goal over this past year, and we're hoping we can get back on track with that in a very robust way, is that our goal for all 5 of our counties, and very much so for Franklin County, just because we had an increase in the number of children, is to recruit more Guardian ad litem advocates who reside in the Franklin County area. That's how our children there in Franklin County are going to best be served, as you've heard me talk about many, many times. So we've been successful in increasing the number of individuals in that capacity who reside in the Franklin County area, but we really could double that number now, and are going to continue to shoot for that. We did add one new advocate. We've been training online. Since we used to train everybody in face-to-face, we've made that adjustment to training everybody online and recruiting and fulfilling that activity virtually. Continuing to hope to bring on as many people, and we've been very fortunate that has slowed down definitely, but we are still bringing new advocates on. And like I said, we did just finish training and certifying a member of the Franklin County community, so we were very excited about that. So currently we're at about 39 children, and that's low for us, but we had several of our cases that we were able to discharge. So it has been averaging in the 50s for the number of children, but our budget request was, as it stated in the letter, 6,466. But I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any. I appreciate your time. I did not emphasize that our circumstances for the children continue to be primarily substance abuse and domestic violence. So ensuring that the children, the caregivers, and the parents have those services continues to be an effort that the providers and I continue to discuss and work on. And we have an incredibly strong team that serves Franklin County. It's been the same team for the past few years. I'm just so fortunate to hold on to the staff, and Franklin County is real fortunate that our attorney on those cases is our supervising attorney. But the team for every child, the attorney, the child advocate manager, and the guardian ad litem volunteer, all three for every child, we just have an incredibly strong team for every child in the community. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that continues. Thank you, everybody, so much.
I tentatively approve that.
You've been tentatively approved, ma'am?
All right, Ms. Deborah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.
You too.
Now, did you go get the public defender or wanna go on now?
She's still trying to reach him, so can I go? I have Dr. Teef on the phone for the Dog Island Conservative District. Can I just unmute him?
Yeah.
And Dr. Teef.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you're unmuted, sir. Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you, and I appreciate the reminder from your staff.
No problem, sir.
I wanted to first say thanks to the folks we've had a chance to deal with, including Mr. Marone over the past year, Ms. Griffith for the clerk's office, and Ms. Skipper from the property appraiser's office, Mr. Schuler from the county attorney, and Ms. Riley from the supervisor of elections office. And that, of course, does not single out, although it should, Commissioner Bolt, our commissioner, and Chairman Lockley. We thank you for your attention. We have kept our budget request the same, which is $11,000 in unrestricted funds for operation of equipment and maintenance of equipment on the island, waste management issues, dock maintenance and repair, and the landing craft operations. We've also requested, as we have in the past, a tipping fee credit at the landfill of $6,000, and that's a tremendous benefit to us. I don't have anything else to say. This is essentially what we've presented to you in past years, and I would ask if there are maybe any questions that I could answer for board members.
You've been tentatively approved, sir.
So I guess they had no questions.
Thank you very much.
They had no questions, so have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Christopher.
Okay, and if there are follow-up questions, of course, I'm available. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, Commissioner, I also have here Appalachia Center, so I have two numbers. So let me unmute both. I don't know who's on the numbers, if it's Mr. Hilton or not.
Good afternoon. This is Dean Hilton. I'm the CFO with the Appalachia Center. And good afternoon, commissioners. Thank you for allowing us to present. Our funding request is we are asking for level funding compared to last year. Our funding falls under the Baker and Marchman Acts under the Florida statutes. Those provide crisis stabilization and detox services for Franklin County residents. pretty straightforward, same thing we've done in prior years. Let me know if you have any additional questions.
Is it the same as last year?
Same as last year?
Yeah, 24.4.
Same as last year.
I tentatively approve.
You've been tentatively approved, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Hilton.
Thank you very much. You have a good afternoon.
You too, sir. Thank you. Mute them, and I guess
Public defender and,
if Aaron doesn't mind, we can go ahead and do Franklin Soil and Water Conservation, and then we could just look at a public defender if nobody calls in.
Yep, in the Soil and Water Conservation District, their operating expenses allocation of $798.50 is unchanged. Now, we do pay part of a shared employee that's shared amongst, I believe, 4 other counties that are all part of the same water district. With that, it was only a difference of about $600 in that allocation. And that's just a portion of a shared employee.
Tentatively approved.
they've been tentatively approved.
And public defender with any change in their request that we know of?
Not that I'm aware of.
They're right after state attorney.
Let's see. Franklin County's additional costs, $1,535, and are reflected in the 5,100 category, which is actually going to be office supplies. Let's see what it mentions here. It does not say why that's the case. Our approved budget for 2020 was $17,201. The requested budget for 2021 was $18,743. So they have an increase of about $1,500. That's strictly in their office supply category.
That would be, the technology.
Oh, okay. So, Linda saying she takes the technology funds, so.
Tentatively approved.
They've been tentatively approved. When they call, or either y'all get in touch with them.
Well,
That's it, ain't it?
Commissioners, I think that's it for today. We've set our date for our public hearings in September.
September the what?
The 8th and the 22nd, 5:15.
8 and 22nd.
8th and 22nd at 5:15. It's the opposite Tuesdays from your meetings.
So since we're not meeting about these, do we still need to tentatively approve them?
Do you want tentative approval for the NGOs as a, just to put on the record?
Yes, that would be nice.
Yeah,
All of their funding was kept at the same level as the current year.
Okay.
So you guys want to do just a blanket approval?
All as all one?
That's all one.
Tentatively approved.
Okay, the NGO's been tentatively approved, NGF, so all under one blanket.
Anything else, Ms. Griffith?
As far as where we are right now, what will go out on the notice is going to be your 5.9026, which is going to be 3.69% over the rollback rate. One thing to note, of course, we can go down from this rate, we cannot go above that rate. So if our revenue estimates come in the middle of August, when they do, convene again for the next revenue estimating conference, we can actually make the adjustments for any positive changes that way, and then also any CARES Act. And also the finalized rate from Capital Health Plan.
Any more discussion? No more discussion? The budget workshop is adjourned.
Thank you.